Okay.
How's your life been?
Very good, very good. Now, we're going to be recording the audio separately, so you're going to pass this microphone back and forth. It's mainly going to be in your hands.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Sorry, I should look like not like
Do
this.
whatever you want. The prototype of a future show. Okay. We are bringing the audio in. 1, 2, 3. Hello, you are watching A Perfectly Regular Day in Alaska. I am your host, Britton Lippert. This is a show where we interview absolutely regular Alaskans. Today we are at the University of Alaska Fairbanks interviewing this wonderful gentleman right here.
Hi,
What's your name? What's your introduction? What can you tell me about yourself?
my name is Zachary McIntyre. I don't believe there is such thing as a normal Alaskan because...
One thing, I would turn this around and speak into this part right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My name is Zachary McIntyre. I don't believe there's any such thing as a normal Alaskan because we're all freaking weirdos. I am a UAF college student. When I was in high school, I did robotics for 8 years, and then at the last possible second, I jumped ship and decided I was going to study to become a paramedic. And now I play D&D and distract myself in various ways while also filling out the prerequisites for the paramedic program.
All right, Mr. Zachary. So I've got a couple of questions for you then that maybe we can get started. So you said you don't think there's anything, any such thing as a normal Alaskan, that everyone here is weird. If you wouldn't mind, whatever you're willing to share, could you divulge where you were born in Alaska, where you've lived, and how you feel like specifically the people and the climate of Alaska have affected and shaped the way you've developed?
So I wasn't actually born in Alaska. I was actually born in O'Fallon. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri. I was raised across the river in O'Fallon, Illinois, and then I have lived in Alaska for the past 5 years. And Alaska has generally been interesting. Where to even begin? I think the light schedule, for one thing, has a very strong effect on how mental processes work, and that is definitely something that has taken some adaptation. Also, negative 40-degree weather is not fun. So there are people who will do like a challenge where they go out and take pictures by the UAF sign when it's negative 40. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. You can't make me.
So beautiful, beautiful. So you said you switched here recently into a paramedicine program. Then you also mentioned Dungeons and Dragons as one of your big interests. Could you tell me and the viewers at home just a little bit about your passions and your interests and what's really driving you here in the world today?
Cars drive me places. In all seriousness, though, Dungeons and Dragons is a really nice, convenient way to hide from reality when reality scares me.
What kind of character you playing with? Dungeons and Dragons?
I've played several characters. The one I'm currently working on is a Warforged artificer. So basically, a robot inventor that invents robots. Um, he, the storyline for him is that he found his earliest memories are of being recovered by a group of criminals who told him that they found him damaged in an alley and repaired him. And after doing several jobs for the group, he thought he was the only one of his kind, but encountered another robot like him during a job. But one of his handlers killed the robot, and so he left the group and started learning about technology and looking for other robots like him, while also trying to learn about technology and where he came from.
And how often do you play D&D? Is there like a big group here for that?
There is a big group. I haven't been doing it often. I just recently joined a group and am hoping to do that more often. I actually am still in the process of creating this character for that group. I've run several characters in the past, but I try not to get stuck to any one specific thing. I'm currently doing an artificer. In the past, I've done a rogue, a cleric, because I seem drawn to classes that are able to heal things, because
And that ties in pretty well, doesn't it? You recently, you like did a full heel tail swip. You said you swapped from what to the paramedic program?
robotics.
Robotics.
I swapped from fixing robots to fixing people.
Right. And how far along are you becoming a paramedic now?
So I have passed my EMT1 class. I have been working on prerequisites for the paramedic program, which that's my current thing I'm working on. Math sucks. But otherwise, yeah.
For sure. And okay, I've got one more nice hard button question here for you. So what would you say, what was that deciding reason, that factor that made you say, screw robotics, screw all this time I spent here, something deeply within me is calling, I gotta go get out on that ambulance, I gotta go help some people, I gotta go save some lives, right? What's that pounding call in your heart?
Good frick, that, okay, alright, that actually gets a little bit personal, but
Well, what you're willing to share with the general public.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
So it was a series of moments.
Feel free if you can't answer the question, by the way, we can move on.
Yeah, so about probably 3 years ago, I ended up briefly homeless due to was with my mother, and uh, I lived in a shelter called the Door, and while I was there, I grew to know several um, people, and one of these people was a bisexual girl, and I vaguely knew her, um, but didn't know her all that well. Um, but one day, I don't know the full story, but there had I've heard different versions of the story, but as far as best I know, she had a stalker who found out about her sexuality
Okay.
and um attacked her, and she got away, and for some godforsaken reason came to me, and I didn't know what to do. I took her back to the door and let other people um help her, but I hated the feeling of seeing someone in pain and not being able to do anything to help them. And that was the first big scenario, and since then I have repeatedly ended up around people in really bad scenarios, and uh, uh, been in situations where people were hurt, and I was the first person on the scene over and over and over again. And another incident was one where I was going home from Lathrop High School, and I, as I was leaving, I heard a group of people, teenage boys being loud. I gave them a disapproving glare and started to move on. And then I heard their loudness peak, and I turned around, and at Lathrop there's like an overpass over the a like walkway over the road, stairs, walkway, and then stairs down. Yeah, and he rode down the first flight of the stairs, second flight of stairs, and then when he hit the bottom, he flipped. And I came over and helped as best I can. I called over the school nurse, and the EMTs came, and I wasn't sure how much further I could contribute, and so I'm not 100% certain I mentioned this part, but afterwards I looked, and the only way I could think of that with my skill set I could help was I looked at his bike, which after he had left was after he was being loaded into the ambulance. I looked at his bike, and his bike was it was beaten up. It had
I will say we're getting a little close to our time.
All right.
Here, so I might start to wrap the show up. If you just want to try to close off this segment, best way you can, tie it all together.
Yep. All right. So his bike was beaten up, and I um the way I felt I could help more than I already had was to um offer to fix the bike, but the parents said no, that'll be fine. I felt that my skills applied to
Would you mind if I go ahead and take the mic real quick?
yeah.
So, I hate to cut you off. We're running a little short on time on what I can run with the interview on my footage time right now. But if I'm hearing you right, through all these stories, essentially, throughout your life, if I can summarize it pretty well, you've been having these kind of repeated incidents where you see people who are in need of help, and it's just almost been this kind of deep, repeated, drive that you want to be that resource in your community. You want to be the person who's trained, capable, and effective at responding.
Yeah, I think it more than anything is just largely that I don't like the feeling of not being able to do anything. So I want to be able to do something in those situations.
Absolutely. Well, Zachary, I really appreciate you coming on a perfectly regular day in Alaska. Your stories have definitely given us a lot of insight and a lot of wonderful footage. Are there any last closing statements before I let you go that you'd like to tell the audience at home? Anything you could pack within like one last minute?
Uh, nothing particular coming to mind.
Got anyone to rep? Got anyone to call out? Got any sponsors to throw out there on the web? Hit it hard. Hit that ball in Bird game 2020, baby. Nothing. All right. Well, I appreciate you very much, Zachary. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Bye bye.
Not that I happen to ramble at all.
Well, it's a 5-minute show.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just submitted for writing a 1,102 54 word, 700 word essay. So yeah, I have a really, really bad habit of rambling. McIntyre. I know it's actually March, but
Let's see if I can't find a new unwitting subject.